Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is all about Oasis Network Rose, and we are going to be taking a look at some particular setups that I'm seeing here for Rose, perhaps comparing Rose's setup right now to the setup that we had for XRP before its major 200% move. I'm sure many people benefited from that XRP move, so let's look at the Oasis network and look at the Rose chart to see if we can see some similarities setting up in the chart for Rose. So guys, I'm going to take a look at the Fibonacci levels, a bit of Elliott Wave analysis, looking at the higher time frame key trend line retests and the bearish breaker candles and bullish breaker candles as usual. So if you like the video, give it a like. Of course, any comments and subscriptions are absolutely appreciated as always. Let's get straight into the video. One thing that I want to point out here is the Rose chart on top comparing to XRP is exhibiting some very similar price behavior as what we've seen in XRP over the past years. We've seen Rose enter these parabolic moves to the upside over these years, 2021, 2022. Big parabolic move to the upside, as we saw with XRP, a nice move up, move down, big parabolic move to the upside. You can see these big bearish breaker candles and bullish candles here acting as key resistance as support, as what we saw for XRP as resistance, and then we finally get the breakout. And what we've seen now for Rose is big bearish candle, big bullish candle, resistance. We haven't even come back up for a second retest yet, which is a great sign, because when we want to be focusing on coins that haven't made the move yet, like everyone in the market now is focusing on XRP after this big move to the upside and perhaps want to get in on a long or a short. All the liquidity flows from coin to coin and people chase the big shiny object, the big green candles. What I like to do is do the analysis on XRP as we're seeing these accumulation ranges, get the breakout, bit of a TP, bit of a take profit percentages, and then focus on the charts that are looking very similar but lagging behind. So what I want to do now is just focus primarily on the Rose chart, take a look at the Fibonacci's, take a look at the liquidity levels and some Elliott Wave, and go through the psychology of how we might be wanting to enter Rose here for the potential lower time frame and medium time frame trades. So let's simplify this right down for Rose and take a look at where the accumulation happens for Rose and where the big breakouts and breakdowns happen. And if we just take it all the way back to the start of the chart, you can see the initial accumulation for that big run up to the upside happened at these lower levels, and that's exactly where we've got accumulation going on before big runs up to the upside, and once again accumulation before a nice big move to the upside. Where are we sitting now? We're sitting primarily right at that zone. And when we look to the upside and where we look at these big bullish breaker candles and where we see the big bullish breaker candles go, big bearish candles, look at these zones, they're so reactionary here. We've got bullish breaker candles here, back test, continuation, big bearish candle initiating there, back test, continuation down. These primarily are the zones that we need to be focusing on at the minute for Rose. These are the only zones that we've got, so it makes sense to just focus on these. And when we look to the future, we need to be identifying some potential take profit zones. So initially, if you're going to be looking at a trade entry down here for Rose, I don't think it matters too much where you're entering down here, to be fair. Obviously it's not financial advice, but we're looking at key structural levels here on the weekly and monthly time frame. These are the zones that we've seen Rose accumulate in the past. So if we're looking for TP zones, we need to be looking up and around 10 cent. If you remember, like what we saw for XRP, we got the first initial test to the upside, second initial test, we came back down for XRP, and it was almost like an inverse head and shoulder structure before then getting that big break, retest, continuation to the upside, which is kind of what I'm expecting here for Rose. But we need to dive in a little bit more technically here. We can't just have this as our technical analysis. We need to be a bit more thorough and a bit more specific as to where we might be wanting to see Rose enter and exit the market. And to do that, I've taken us to the monthly time frame, get some higher time frame analysis done on the range here, where we've seen a range low set and a range high with a deviation candle body close back within the range, monthly time frame candle there coming down to wick, and now at them zones that we outlined earlier on the weekly time frame. So I'm thinking, as we look at Rose, this is the clear range that's been set. So I think if we was to see something like what we got for XRP, where we moved back to the top of the range, that would be a really nice TP zone. You can see there at the top of that wick would be about 11 cent. That might get front ran, so I would outline 10 cent as a potential take profit zone. That would again be 100% move from current levels. If we were to get major dips to the downside, I think they are buy the dip opportunities. Of course, not financial advice, but then we'll be looking for them higher time frame retests of these key structural levels that we've seen in the past. So if we was to follow the same thing what we saw for XRP, crash, come back up, reaccumulate at these levels, maybe deviate below, above, and then look for them higher time frame moves back to the upside, which is what we're going to focus on now, which as always we are going to take the candle body closes on the monthly time frame to the highs and lows, and look where the 382 comes at. It comes in at the top of this big bearish candle, so I would outline that as a bit of confluence right there for Rose. Big bearish candle, big bullish candles coming in and initiating from these levels. Next TP zone, I would outline that as about 15-16 cent, which is why I've put the thumbnail of this video saying about a 200% move, because come from current levels that is about a 200% move. So I am really outlining Rose here as a potential big major 200% move to the upside. We've seen it with other coins, we've seen it with XRP. Could this happen for a lower cap market coin, something like Rose, with previous price history that's survived one bull market and seems to be surviving at least one bear market? So I think that's one thing to be watching out for. I know Rose has a big community as well, so that's another thing you have to take into consideration. A lot of people invested in this project, perhaps a lot of people got in up at the highs and are now looking to accumulate at the lows. There's really many sellers left at these levels. Everyone who bought the highs would have probably sold by now, as you can see these big bearish candles. Fear, max fear, deviation below the range, now come in to retest the range. Time-based capitulation for Rose, I think so. Looking now to the upside, even if it is a retrace or all-time highs, still looking at them 100 to 200% moves on the lower time frame to be able to benefit from, take profit, reaccumulate if possible, or hold some out for all-time highs. That comes down to your own personal risk management plan. And this is where I like to draw a bit of confluence in the chart. We've seen the Fibonacci levels, we've outlined the higher time frame key structural levels and the ranges on the lower time frame. And now we can do a bit of trend analysis with a trend line, nice simple trend line from the candle body closes here on the weekly time frame to the candle body closes up at the highs, and it gives us a really nice confluential level there at the 16-15 cent zone with that trend line retest to the upside, a key Fibonacci level and a key structural support and resistance level on the weekly and monthly time frame there at 16 cents. So I would outline that as a potential opportunity here. We've seen it with Casper, we've seen it with XRP. I would not be surprised to see something like this on the lower time frame and then come back for another major retest of the highs down here. But we need to be able to capitalize on these lower time frame moves by being in early and setting the take profits on the way to the upside with them risk management strategies in play to be able to benefit from the moves back to the downside. But also, when we take a look at this in an Elliott Wave terms, there's a couple of different ways that you can look at this. You can almost see this as an A to the upside, a B to the upside, to the downside here, and then looking for a 5-wave move, which would be coincidental and confluential with that 15-16 cent zone. Or what we can be doing is taking a look at this as a simple 1-2 to the downside, where we've got a fair wave to the upside here for Rose to that 15-16 cent zone, and then we'd be looking for even more major highs to the upside, which, you know, when you're looking at Elliott Wave and you try and do some Elliott Wave analysis, people say it don't work, but we've seen Elliott Wave on this channel play out so much. And when you are doing Elliott Wave, especially on the medium to lower time frame, it's always nice to have a count where even the bearish count of an ABC to the upside with more lows in the future, or an impulse to the upside off of the lows there for a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Both counts are correct here with an ABC or a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but both scenarios mean at least we get to this zone, we pull back, go for highs, or we go and break new lows. But both counts here of an ABC or a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 impulse give us that move to the upside. So even if the bearish count is correct and we go up and then we go for brand new lows in the future, a big liquidation event or a black swan event happens, you know, that don't really matter too much because you've got them TP zones marked out on your charts. But if a black swan event was to occur on the Rose chart or in the cryptocurrency market, what we've got here for Rose is another potential downside weak zone where we could see Rose potentially come to, which I think would if it was to happen within the next 2-3 weeks or months going to August, September, people expect a bit of a bad summer or something in the cryptocurrency market. We're seeing about 2 cent here for Rose, in which case you'd probably even just get a retest back to the upside, which would again give you another 100% move from this level. So let's say you had an investment now looking for a move up, that doesn't quite work out, we go and hit the lows. If you've got spare capital there to be able to invest at this level, an extra 50% or 100%
investment down here, with that retrace back to the upside, gets you back to that level where you are able to at least take out a bit of profit once again. So I think even when you are looking at these scenarios, you're looking at Elliott Wave counts or you're looking at risk management, have a strategy for both. You don't want to be all in on one coin because anything can happen in this cryptocurrency market. You just need to be sat back, relaxed, let the market do the work, set a plan out in your own risk management and follow it through. So I think for me, that's going to be the plan for Rose. If we are looking at one more low down at that 2 cent zone, if we're not, we're looking at an ABC or a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the upside for a big 200% move, like we've already been able to capitalize on with XRP. So again, if you do enjoy these kind of videos, give it a like. I appreciate it. Of course, it's free, and that's the only way I can get some support from people on YouTube. Likes, comments, subscriptions, you know the drill. But of course, once again, it's not financial advice. If you like the video, give it a like. Any comments, subscriptions, always appreciated. And I'll see you next time, guys.